So I thought today we would go over my brushes and some of my absolute favorites in my collection. This video was a suggestion. Thank you so much to Iris for your suggestion. I thought this sounded like a really cool idea. And she was curious what my favorite brushes are in my entire collection. And they all happen to be clean right now, which is a beautiful moment. I love when I have them all clean and ready to use. I thought I would talk to you a little bit about how I organize them. I'm also going to include some clips of how I clean my brushes. That was also requested. Currently, this is kind of my setup. So you'll notice I have a little empty black container. I picked this up from TJ Maxx. And I love having this container empty. This is basically where I keep all of my dirty brushes. This is definitely a life hack from me to you. I hear so many people complain about dirty brushes, about not wanting to clean their brushes or getting overwhelmed with how many brushes they have to clean. What I like to do to keep myself sort of on the ball and on task is to put all of my dirty brushes in this one container, and I'll reuse those brushes until I need to wash them, which is about once a week. So if I do a couple makeup looks, I'll just use those same brushes, wash just this container instead of all of these, and then I just put them back in their respective organizers. These are all separated for different functions. It has made washing my brushes not some huge ordeal that I dread, and it's made it very easy and fast. I can typically wash my brushes in about 10 minutes and I'm done. So to get more into the organizing, I keep all of my clean eye brushes in this white little brush holder, the exact same one as the black one, but the two different colors helps distinguish my clean ones from my dirty brushes. Then I have this larger container, which is essentially all of my face brushes. These are all the powder product brushes. In the center here, I have a spillover brush container. So these are all brushes I don't use as often, but they are available to me on an as needed basis. I absolutely do love a lot of these brushes, but I wanted to keep my containers a little bit more loosey-goosey so I can fit the brushes back in after they're cleaned. So these are ones I like, but I don't like as much as these three. And then moving into this brush container, these are all of my cream product brushes. So I keep cream face, powder face, and eye brushes. So now let's get into some of my top picks. First, let's start with my cream face brushes because I feel like this is going to be the easiest category for me to tackle. So these are some of my most loved, most used cream face product brushes essentially, and some other miscellaneous ones. So first we have my favorite foundation brush. This one is from the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill collection. This is the GH03. This is a really dense duo fiber foundation brush. It's rounded at the top. This applies foundation so beautifully. I absolutely love this brush. I think a lot of the brushes from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collection were actually pretty phenomenal. I really have enjoyed a lot of them. So that is my absolute favorite foundation brush. I also have this little brush from Smashbox. This is not necessarily a face brush, but it is an angled eyeliner brush. And I find this very easy if you're trying to use a potted eyeliner or if you're trying to do detail work or graphic liners. The fact that this has this little bent tip allows you to get a really good angle. It's an easier brush to use. This is definitely like my favorite liner brush, and it's called the Arched Liner from Smashbox. I also have this little lip brush from Luxie. This came in a Luxie set. It is the Luxie 160 lip brush. Just fits right inside of its little case. And this is great if I wanted to clean up like a red lipstick or a colorful lipstick with concealer, or if I wanted to apply lipstick from a palette or blend lipstick for like an ombre look. I think this is really handy. It's a nice size, and I like that it's so compact. And if you do have some lipstick on this product, it's nice that it doesn't get all over your other brushes. I also really love this little brush from Japanesque. I don't know what this one is called, but it's essentially this little duo fiber angled brush. You can see I use this a lot to blend out concealer under my eyes. I think this is a really handy little brush. I like that it's angled. And of course you could also use this for detail work with cream products. This is kind of one of those miscellaneous brushes that just happen to be with my cream products. I think there must have just been more space. This is actually a brush I got from Amazon. It also came with this little brush and comb set. And it also came with a brow brush and spoolie. I thought it was such a great little kit from Amazon. I think it was like under $10. So I'll talk about these together. This set has a brush on it, and then it has a little metal comb. I find this really handy and really sturdy, especially if you were doing those like soap brows. I like that you have the comb to kind of separate if you want to. Then you've got the bigger brush bristles to brush your brows up. It's kept its shape nicely, and I think it's great. And then this little guy is essentially a brow comb. So it also has little metal comb bristles. This is awesome if your mascara gets a little bit clumpy. You can run this through your lashes and it pulls the clumps out and separates your lashes again, so I find this really handy. I also really like this brush from Luxie. This is their 510 foundation brush. I don't use this to apply foundation, but I do use this to apply primer sometimes, especially like a pore filling primer, some of those putties. I just don't like putting my fingers in products all the time, and I find that a brush like this, even though we might not use these as much for foundation anymore, they can be really great for base products. My favorite cream blush brush is this one from Smashbox. This is the Cream Cheek Brush. You'll see it has duo fiber bristles. It's got a smaller head. So you'll see, like, in comparison to my palm, it's a fairly small brush, and I love that this allows me to get very detailed application. I really like to pounce this brush into my cheeks to apply cream cheek products, and I think this is just marvelous. Next, I have another brush from Japanesque. It's very similar to the one we talked about for concealer, but this one would be more for like a foundation or like to blend cream cheek products. I like that, again, that it's angled. It allows you a lot more precision for face products, and I find it really handy. It just really kind of pats the product into your face. Another cream cheek brush I really like is this one from Luxie. This is the Luxie 512 Small Contour. I use this, again, with these duo fiber bristles for cream cheek products, mainly cream blush, and I find this is a really handy tool. If you don't want to spend for the Smashbox Cream Cheek, I think this is a nice alternative. The brushes are a little bit longer and not quite as rounded as the Cream Cheek, which is my absolute favorite. This is so dense and beautiful. But this one's actually really nice as well. I think it's a nice alternative. Next, I have this brush from Sigma. This is the Sigma Cut Crease E62 brush. I am obsessed with this brush. I found this at TJ Maxx. It is so fabulous. You'll see it's got this little angled top, and this is great for applying eyeshadow primer, especially if you've got your brows already done like I typically do. It really helps to keep things under control. It gives this great angle that really does help you to cut your crease. Love this brush. I also have this complexion brush from Moda. This is really awesome for cream bronzer. It's also really great for cream blush. I really love brushes with duo fibers for any cream cheek products. I just find that they really help me to pick up the product when they're dense, but the duo fiber allows me a very seamless application. I love this brush. I think it's such a pretty style as well. Then I have two complexion brushes from Luxie. This is the Luxie 140 Detail Tailor Blender, and then we have the Luxie 120 Detail Round Blender. If there are areas of your face where you find it hard to get a larger brush, then these can be really great. They're very nice for blending or for making corrections without messing up the rest of your makeup. I love this pointed edge. And then this one has a rounded top. This to me is very similar to like what a fingertip would do with makeup. I love this for blending out face products in detailed areas. I love this for like eyeshadow primer, or if I needed to blend under my eyes, if I was blending in concealer, this would be a very nice brush for that as well. I just love these for like detail work. I have a couple more like this, but I don't reach for them as often. These are the two I reach for the most. Next, I just have a spoolie from Luxie. This is one that I reach for probably the most. It's just a regular spoolie. I have several of these. I have ones that are angled, but I just really love this one. I think the bristles are really firm. It works really well. I like the weight of it, and I love this little spoolie. This is one of my ride or die most beloved brushes in my entire collection. This is the Morphe M536. It's a cream bullet brush. You've got, again, the duo fiber. It's a very dense brush, but it is more rounded. This is fantastic and my favorite brush for blending out under eye concealer. I love it so much. I think it behaves like a sponge because it's so dense, but again, the duo fiber bristles allow you for a more seamless blend. I adore this brush. This could also be really great for cream bronzer, contour, or blush, but I specifically use this for concealer under my eyes. Love. This brush from Luxie is another one that is forever dirty in my collection. This is the Luxie 660 Precision Foundation Brush. I use this exclusively for cream bronzer. I love this brush for cream bronzer. Again, you'll notice the duo fibers. This one is not as dense as the Morphe M536 brush. It's got a longer bristle. It's more narrow here at the ferrule, and then it kind of like blooms out. It's just such a nice product to apply bronzer because it does allow you for precise application. I think this is such a fantastic and useful brush. Next, I have this brush from EcoTools. This is the Angled Crease Brush. You'll notice that it's got this angled edge, and I just really love the size. I use this exclusively for powder products, but I keep it in with my cream products because I have a lot more small brushes there so that this one won't get lost with those giant powder brushes and I can find it more easily. I use this exclusively for nose contour with like a powdered bronzer or powdered contour or cream. You could use it really with either. It again has the duo fiber, and I love this little brush. It's the perfect size for my nose and what I like to do. So love this one. This one's always dirty too. Then I have this foundation brush from MAC. This is so old that all the labeling has worn off, but I love this mostly for skincare. I think this is a very handy brush. I mainly use this for skincare, essentially, especially if it's skincare that's coming from a jar. Again, I don't always like to put my fingers into products, so just scooping this one in and grabbing some skincare is so handy. This one's another one that I'm constantly washing. And then I have these 3 honorable mentions I don't use as often, but when I do, I'm always really happy. This one is from KVD. It is an angled brush. It's like angled on both ends. This is so fantastic for contour. You can really get into like the little arches that you want to sculpt. I love the shape of it. It's like a little cool pointy brush. It's really chic. And I love, again, the duo fiber. I love the bristles and how they're all sculpted. I don't have any other brushes like this in my collection, and I do love this one when I cream contour. I just don't cream contour that often. I also have this little one from Japanese. This is a concealer brush. You'll see that it is duo fiber, but it is angled. It's longer here in the back and it gets shorter in the front, but you've got all these duo fibers. This is really awesome for concealer, or if you were doing color correcting, you just wanted to spot treat certain areas. This is the Japanese 712 brush. I love this one. I just find this like such a soft, again, like a fingertip type of application. And then we have this little one from KVD, which is essentially a smaller version of this larger brush. This is great for, again, concealer. This is the number 40, and the larger one was the number 5. I really like this brush. I love the shape of it. I think it's so unique and helpful. It's such a great tool in my collection. So these are essentially all of my favorite cream face product brushes and a couple little miscellaneous like eyebrow eyelash brushes. Now moving into my powder face brushes. Okay, so this was actually a lot easier than I thought. This was actually a lot easier for me than the cream product brushes. So let's again start here at the end. First, we have this Moda brush. This is just a very nice fluffy powder brush. Again, you know me with these duo fibers. I just think they're really nice. And I like how chunky this is. It just has a nice sized head, but not too big for my face. I have this one from Clionadh Cosmetics. I think this is their stained glass collection. Again, very fluffy duo fiber, great size for my face. It's not too big, not too small. This is just great for all over powder. Then I have some bullet brushes that I really like, all basically here, these 5. First, I have, again, a Moda brush. This is the blush brush, and I love the fibers. I think they're, again, duo fiber, but really, really beautiful. I love the whole shape and style of this brush. This is great for like bronzer, powder bronzer, or you could use this obviously for blush too, but I tend to use these more bullet shaped brushes for bronzer. This one I love from Sonia Kashuk. I got this from Target. This is another duo fiber brush, but it's very, very dense. It's very soft. I really love this for bronzer, but this does tend to pick up a lot of product. So this is best with a bronzer that isn't one that you have to like be very gentle with. I have a similar brush from Luxie. This is the Luxie 520. Again, duo fiber, soft, fluffy, this nice bullet shape. I have one also here from Luxie. This is the 520 tapered face. So these are actually the same brush, but they're just in different styles. And then I have the Real Techniques 400 brush. Again, another bullet. I love this one for bronzer. These are all like bronzer brushes to me. Then moving into blush, I have a couple blush brushes that I really like. I have this one from Sephora. This is the Sephora 55 Pro Airbrush. And I think this is fantastic for blush. It again has the duo fiber, very soft bristles. And I just love this brush for blush. Another one I really love for blush is this one from Jaclyn Hill and Morphe. This is the JH04 brush. It's duo fiber, it's got a nice angle. This one is constantly dirty. This is probably my most used blush brush. I have a similar one from Luxie. This is the Luxie 504 large angled brush. Again, duo fiber, and it's got that great angle that can just shape right to your cheekbone. I also really love this Blush Crush brush from Real Techniques. This is the 002 brush. It also has duo fibers. It's very soft. It's nice and fluffy. It's definitely more dense at the bottom and then like thinner at the top. I really love this brush for blush. It definitely gives you a lot of impact. And then I have one here from Moda. This is not numbered, but it is again like an angled blush brush, duo fiber, very soft. And then lastly, I have this one from Luxie. This is the tapered highlighter, but I do like using this for both highlighter and blush. It just depends on my mood. And this is the same exact brush, Luxie 522, just in different styles. I'd say I mainly use these for highlighters, but occasionally I'll use them for blush, but mostly highlighters. So we're kind of like into the highlighter section now, somewhat. We have these two from Morphe. They're the exact same brush. One is from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collection, JH09, and the other is the Morphe M510 brush. These are probably my most used highlighting brushes. They're just very soft and fluffy. They've got a smaller head so that your highlighter doesn't get out of control. This one is not one I use all the time. It's one I kind of just rediscovered as I was going through this collection, but I really like this brush. This is the Real Techniques setting brush. You can use this for under eye setting powder, but I also think this would be beautiful for highlighter. It's the Real Techniques 402. This one I've also really liked for highlighter. This is one from Moda. Again, these are not numbered for some reason. I wish they were. But it's basically shaped like this. This is a great little highlighting brush for precision highlighter. And this is actually a third brush from Luxie, just in a gold handle that is the same as these two. So you can see, I tend to like this kind of highlighting brush. I also have this one from Moda. I love this brush. It's got much longer bristles. This is going to give you like a much more blown out, soft highlighting effect. And I think it's just a beautiful brush. It's very unique to my collection. And I really like the handle. I like how pointed it is here at the bottom. And I love the rose gold. And then lastly, we have under eye setting powder. My favorite brush to use for under eye setting is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH07 brush. I use this one constantly. This is my most used under eye setting brush. But I also really like these two. I have this one from Alamar. It's the brightening brush. And this one is like more of like a soft rounded top. It's got the duo fiber, very soft. And then lastly, I love this brush. This is the Luxie Duo Fiber Powder. This, because of the duo fibers and this very light tip, this is probably the nicest brush I have to do under eye powder. It's just very smoothing. It's very soft and light, so you don't end up with too heavy of an application. I still reach for my Jaclyn Hill and Morphe one a lot more, but this one is beautiful for under eye setting. Again, this is the Luxie 516 Duo Fiber Powder. And then lastly, let's move into the toughest category, my eyeshadow brushes. So these are my most reached for, most used eye brushes in my collection, and I tried to organize them kind of into application type or style, or I think y'all get where I'm going with this. I have a couple of angled brushes here. I have these two from Moda. These are basically like the same exact brush. Not basically, they are the same exact brush. This is the Moda Pro BMX 498 line brush. So these are really great for doing eyeliner or for doing like eyeshadow if you wanted to do something a little bit more graphic or a little bit more technical. I love these brushes. I also have two smaller ones. This one is from Moda as well. This is the angled eyeliner brush. And this one is a Moda brush as well, but does not have a specific name on it. I like these because they're just a little bit smaller, a little bit more detailed. So if you're doing like detailed line work, these are really great brushes. I also have a couple flat brushes. These are also really great for under eye application or again for liner, detail work. I have one from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. This is the JH43 brush, and then these two from Luxie are the Luxie 221 flat definer. I use these all the time. These are so helpful. Next, I have these four, which are a little bit more like a flat top. Some of them are duo fiber. This one is not. These are really great for like blending out your eyeshadow look. I like to use these as clean brushes and then just no additional product, just sweep to blend my eyeshadow. I have this one from Morphe. This is the maybe 332. It's something 32 brush. It's a little rounded at the top, but it's mostly flat. Just great for blending. And then I have a couple from Luxie. This is the Luxie 205 tapered blending. These might all be the Luxie 205 tapered blending brush. So again, I like that they're duo fiber. I like that they're mainly like a flat top. They're just really great for blending out the top of my eyeshadow looks and just blending colors or like applying something all over the crease. Another style I really like are these rounded top blending brushes. Again, I like to use these more so clean. I do have smaller eyes, so brushes that are this size might be nice if you have a larger crease area or larger lid. So we have one from Crown, which has already worn off, but it's got this duo fiber rounded top. And this is nice, just it gives you a little bit more precision if you're working more so in the crease than like all over your lid. We have the Luna Magic, does not have a style on it, but again, rounded duo fiber. We've got a Moda Pro BMX 430 crease. This is the exact same brush. So these are both just duo fiber rounded top. I have this one from Alamar. It does not say what it does on it, but again, duo fiber rounded tip. I have another one from Moda. This one does not have an actual name on it other than Moda. And then I have one from Cleona, which is also not specifically labeled, but these are all essentially the same brush. They're all rounded top, great for blending. Again, I like to use these with no additional product and just use these to blend out my eyeshadow. Next, I have these two from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. We have the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH32 and JH33. So JH33 is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit more of like a packing brush. It's great for my small eyes. And then this one that's a little larger is great to blend out a look. So like pack the color, blend the color. I like using these brushes all the time. These are always dirty. And then I have two that are a similar style. This is the Sonia G Detailed Pro brush, and I have the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH30 brush. These are both a lot fluffier. These are great for blending as well. If you're blending over a larger area, I think they're really great for like transition colors or blending your entire look. I really like these brushes and I use them often. Then I have an array of like flat brushes. You could also use these for concealer, but I like using these for shimmer shades. I don't like applying shimmers with my fingers just because I feel like I can't be as precise as I want to be. I have one from Cleona. It does not have a specific name on it, but this one I think is really good for picking up like textured shadows. The bristles feel a little bit like sleeker, and I find that that really helps me pick up those like real glittery shades. Same as these two from BH Cosmetics. These are the number 9 brush. This came from the Aurora Lights collection. See how long these are? Something about these synthetic bristles picks up shimmer shades so well, and I love how thin and long they are. They just really help for like detail application of shimmer. I have one from Luxie. This is the Luxie concealer brush. It's the 211. I use this all the time for shimmer shadows. And then I have these two. I love this one from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. This is the JH47. It's just a little bit more textured, and I find that that can help me kind of rough up the pan if I'm getting any kind of hard pan. It really does pick up sparkle and shimmer so well. And then I have another concealer brush from ColourPop. This is the E3. I love how it has the duo fiber, and it also has this rounded tip. It can also be really great for like cutting your crease, but I love these for shimmer shades. Then I have one from Huda Beauty. This is a dual-ended brush. It's got a sponge tip applicator on one side and then it's got a silicone applicator on the other side. These are also really great for applying shimmers or picking up glitters, things that might be a little bit trickier. This one would apply almost like a fingertip. And this is great because it's silicone, it doesn't stain, and it does pick up stuff like pressed glitters very well. If you wanted to cut your crease and apply something very precise, I think this is a great tool for that as well because it is pointed. Then I have this little brush from Morphe x Jaclyn Hill. This is the JH39. I love this duo fiber detail brush for applying like an inner corner shadow or doing detail work along the lower lash line. I think this is a great little brush. I also have this unique brush from Morphe. I guess it could kind of be like those ones that we saw that had the rounded top, but this one is a bit more angular at the top, a little bit more pointed, and I find this is really nice for getting precise work in your crease if you want it to deepen up. I love this like pointed tip. This is the Morphe M330 brush. Now we're getting into some more small blending brushes, which I love because I do have smaller eyes. So I have this little one from Morphe. No, this is a little one from Japanesque. This is the 725 brush. It's very small. It's very fluffy. This is awesome for doing detailed blending. If you don't want your eyeshadow to go like too crazy, you can just really get in there precisely and blend things out. I love this little brush. This is another absolute favorite. It's similar to this first one, but it's less flat at the top, more rounded, more pointed. This is another one from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collection. This is the JH40. I love this brush set so much. Highly recommend it. This is so great for like doing outer corner work because it is a little bit more precise and it is small. If you have smaller eyes like me, I would definitely recommend using smaller brushes. Sometimes it feels like we can't do eyeshadow because the brushes we're using are wrong and they're just like sabotaging us. So definitely if you have smaller eyes, try using smaller brushes. I think you'll have a much easier time. This one from Luxie is the 237 blending brush. It's very similar to the one by Japanesque, only it is a duo fiber brush. Very fluffy and thin. Love this one. I have this little guy from Glamour. These are those cute little Valentine's Day brushes that we got. I use this one all the time for packing on shades. It's a little bit denser. It's still very small though, so I get a lot of control with this brush. I love this guy. It's always dirty. Again, same sort of use for this brush. It is a duo fiber from Luxie. This is the small tapered blending brush, the 231. I really love this for blending out in detailed areas or even for applying shadow to my crease. And again, another duo fiber, very thin blending brush, a small tapered blending, 231. I have another one from Luxie that's very similar to this one. In fact, they might be the exact same brush. Yep, the 237 blending. So I have two of those, love them both. I have this one, which is the 235 blending brush, another small one. I think I tend to apply with this denser, rounder, thicker brush, and then I'll blend it with the more detailed, longer, a little fluffier brush from Luxie. I have this one from Lavish. This is the tapered blending brush. Maybe I should have included this one in with the rounded blending brushes, but this one is much smaller, so it allows you more precision. It's very fluffy, duo fiber. And then this one's also another dense one. This is Luxie 229 tapered blending. This is another good one for blending out shadow in detailed areas because it's a little bit flatter at the top and fluffier, but it's not as large as the ones we talked about before. Our next category is like packing brushes. So I have this one, which is the BMX 446 shade brush from Moda. I have one from Luxie, which is the large shader brush, and I have another one from Luxie, which is also the large shader. So these are the same brush. I like using all of these if I was to do a lot more color blocking and such, or wanted to cover a larger area, or I wanted to keep my color placement very precise. I think these are great little packing brushes. Now we're moving into like my more detailed brushes. So to wrap this up, again, we have a crown brush. It does not have a specific name to it, but this is a nice pencil brush. It is a little bit larger, but it is duo fiber and it like this pointed tip. Similarly, the Alamar brush, again, no name. That's kind of like a pencil. It's got that rounded tip with the duo fiber. And this is another one that isn't as nice as these two, but it's like the same kind of style where it's a pencil brush. This one is not duo fiber. I find this one to be a little bit messier, a little fluffier than these two, which are more precise, but I still find myself reaching for this often for like inner corner highlights. I love this one from Luxie. This is the small shader brush, the 245. I love using this like to cut my crease or to apply shimmer shades. I just find this very precise. I love the duo fiber. I think this is really great to like conceal or do like detailed like corrective work. I think that's really cool. I love this one for packing on shimmer in the inner corner. This is the Lavish eye shading brush. I just love how small and detailed this is, and the duo fibers help me get up a lot of product. We've got this teeny tiny one from Morphe. This is the M213. It's just a great little detail brush. Very small. So if you're having trouble getting like precise application, definitely try, like I said, using smaller brushes. It will really help you out a lot. I have one here from Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. This is the JH42 brush. I think most of her brushes made it into my favorites. This one again is very soft. It's a little fluffier, not as dense, but it's very detailed. It's great for applying like an inner corner or detailed work on your lid if you're doing something where you wanted color in a specific area. And then I have this little smudger brush. I have two of these, but I just kept one out. I didn't realize how many dupes I had. But that's great because brushes get dirty and I love the ones I love, so I'm grateful to have extras of them. But this is just great for doing stuff like under the lower lash line, smudging out creams or smudging out powders. I love this little brush. So those are all of my brushes. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, seeing what I like to use to apply different products and why I like those brushes. And I like sharing with you my system for keeping my brushes clean and not overwhelming. So I hope this was fun and helpful. Definitely let me know down in the comments below what some of your favorite brushes are and what other videos you might like to see. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel immensely. I thank you all so much for being here. I love you all so much. Until my next video. Bye-bye.